Hello, Roftwood. I'm Zombie GG with the Roftwood Coordination Center, proudly presenting you with another post-apocalyptic production I like to call an RCC Fireside Chat. In this episode, I close out my first Knights Templar series with a final discussion with one of their veteran players, Benaldo. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy the show. And we are now live. Benaldo, welcome to the RCC Fireside Chat.
This is the biggest, comfiest couch I've ever seen.
Oh, why, thank you, man. We try hard to, keep the guests comfy. So when did your character start?
2009.
Okay, 2009, Benaldo is created. He enters Malton.
I don't remember where I spawned because immediately upon spawning I was already headed to Kempster Bank. Not because of the Knights, but because of this completely unrelated thing that I was
Okay,
about to
now
have.
I need to know the completely
Oh,
unrelated thing,
God.
and then we'll go back.
Okay, sorry. Back, this is high school me.
Nice.
Really into, I don't know if you've ever heard of Dr. Steele.
Nope.
Back in that day, alright, the dude was like a grungy industrial hip-hop dude who did like some weird-ass experimental shit that me and my friends were totally into back then. It was
Okay.
great. But so his whole shtick was he's Dr. Steele, he's here to take over the world and be the benevolent dictator. It was all just a big goofy shtick.
Okay.
He had his street team that he referred to as his army of toy soldiers. The toy soldiers had a presence here in Urban Dead because, Urban Dead was the shit back then.
Yeah.
So, here's this bunch of, like, weird creative types that were doing this thing for this guy, and, like, we just played Urban Dead together. So I used to be with the Dr. Steele's Army of Toy Soldiers, the Urban Dead group.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they were based in Kempster Bank, so I just, I was on the Dr. Steele forums and joined up with them. Came to Kemps, and we just kind of hung out and helped out. The Knights were already there, like, for years before we even came on the scene.
So you literally go to Kempster Bank because of this, like, musicians forum?
Yeah, there was just, like, other forum goers that were like, hey, we're playing on Urban Dead, and we're making a little group because we love Dr. Steele, blah, 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 why not?
Okay.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's super cool, man.
Okay. We just bummed around and, did what we could to help out the survivor cause in the area for the years that I was playing, and then Doc just, like, stopped doing music and completely disappeared off the face of the earth, and everybody stopped doing the thing. So I joined the KT.
So what year is this now? 2011?
Yeah, 2011 was when I joined up with the KT, so right about then.
Cool. And then you went straight into the OAM, or no? You had to get a
No,
grasshopper.
whenever you join the Knights, you got to do a stint in the Grasshoppers, man. The Grasshoppers are the junior Knights, so to speak.
Okay.
They get limited access to the forum, and they're mostly tasked with meeting the minimum skill requirements to be a real knight and just scouting. It's pretty much their whole job, because scouting is the best way to learn how to really play Urban Dead.
Yeah, why? Because you understand how to move with free running.
You learn how to move, you learn how to look and notice details and communicate those to your team. You learn where to look for stuff. You learn the lay of the land. It ticks off a lot of boxes all at once. Plus, it gets you out there enough to get XP.
So you join in 2011.
Yeah.
And you are a grasshopper, and the structure is like there's the OAM, and then there's the CFSC, and then there's this third group.
Yeah, the CEF, the Colonial Expeditionary Force.
Okay. So the
They
OAM,
were stationed.
the OAM were like floater squad, like they could do whatever they wanted, kinda. And then
No, the OAM mostly stayed in Kempster Bank. Some of them floated, but for the most part, they stayed in Kemp.
Okay, and then the CFSC was the mobile squad.
Yeah, focused missions for those guys.
The CEM.
CEF.
CEF. What were they about?
They were just kind of our foreign outreach crew. They would pick a suburb somewhere that wasn't Kempster Bank, and they would be that suburb's OAM. pretty much, like functional equivalent. They would go, they would set up an outpost, they would recruit, they would do night things over in
Huh.
Kemsterbank.
That's kind of cool.
Work revive points, heal people, fix buildings, kill zombies.
So, 2011, you're a grasshopper, your class graduates, and then what? What was your first tour? Did you participate in, I don't know, fighting the MOB or the mob?
Oh yeah, they came and went. RRF came and went. Big Bash came and went twice. There's been quite a few campaigns.
I'm trying to think.
There was several mall tours. There was the Dead, when the Dead was romping through the city. The first Dead, and the second Dead.
Wow. The Dead, they're like a group of players from that Something Awful website.
Yeah, from what I understand of them.
Or are they called goons?
Goons, yeah, that's what they call themselves.
So, what would you say, or who would you say the Knights Templar's biggest ally is? Like in 2011. Go 2011.
Back then, we were working with so many people. Yeah, we were working with DEM. We were working with the New Mountain Colossus. That was our big thing. We were with the Colossus.
And that's like the Malton Rangers, the Channel 4 news team.
Yeah, the news team, the Rangers. I think the Zookeepers, a couple other groups.
I just recently learned about the Zookeepers from the Malton medical staff Fireside chat. There was literally.
Oh yeah, they're great fun.
But tell me what you know about the Zookeepers. They're part of the New Mountain Colossus.
I think they were tangentially involved because the news team and the Zookeepers had a really, really good rapport with one another, especially after the Battle of the Bear Pit. So much to them. I mean, their whole objective is to defend the Malton Zoo.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So you guys are cool with those guys. What would you say your biggest rivals were? Like FOD or like MOD?
No, well, yeah, FOD always. FOD are on our permanent enemies list. Like, they are. We usually take the shoot second policy, as I've told you in the past. When it comes to PKers, when it comes to the FOD, we shoot first. Every time.
That's hilarious. They're just the one exception to the policy.
They are the one exception. And they earned that space as the one exception. There were years of war involved. That's the reason why they're in the exception now.
Do they claim themselves in Kemsterbank?
No. No, but every now and then they show up to start some trouble and we have to send them off again.
That's hilarious.
That's what they were doing just recently. They got up to some shenanigans.
Yeah, you guys are totally shoot second with the Gore Corps, or what?
Mm-mm. Not anymore.
Nice. Dude, the Gore Corps are savage, dude. They take no prisoners. They discriminate against no one. Gore Corps
Well, no, look,
any survivor.
At the time, we had a very pragmatic policy of let's not poke the hornet's nest.
Oh man, we live in the hornet's nest.
Yeah, it's different for
us
you guys,
existing.
but we're down on
like
the Kemsterbank.
Yeah. So what's like your favorite thing about being a knight?
You get to meet fun people who actually like you for a change. When you're a knight, you're a knight. I don't know how else to put it.
I feel like people don't
trust you a little bit more. They don't screw with you as much. We roll together, and that's the other thing that's nice, is that we got each other's backs as a group.
Yeah, you guys are always pretty tight, in my experience anyway. You even base your loadouts on having each other's back. Like, isn't it like knight standard policy to like have a kit that includes like a first aid kit and a needle?
Not really like standard policy, just best practice. It's always good to carry an extra needle just to revive someone. And that first aid kit is more for yourself than for somebody else, because you always want to have one in case of infection. A lot of knights take a really generalistic approach, because we all carry, like everybody's got an axe, everybody's got a fair bit of guns and a few first aid kits and a needle or two. But beyond that, I mean, someone might have fuel or a generator. You kind of cover each other's blind spot.
The Roftwood Elite have just been in like straight up full war mode since the RRF have been in Roftwood. Just like guns upon guns upon guns, and then just ammo.
So you gotta do it
just fill everything with ammo and just guns. Drop ammo, and this you have all full guns. ammo doesn't mean anything if it's not in the gun. It's ridiculous. It's just full scale war. Our close neighbors, the MMS, are just like full medical loadout, and it's pretty savage. It really lets us just go like Suicide Squad
I
mode.
mean, yeah, that works. That's how the DEM kind of did it. The DEM, I don't know if you know their, like, how they rolled as a group and how their whole overall structure was. But you had the MPD, the MFD, and the MEMS.
I actually don't know a whole lot about the old school DEM.
Oh man, the old school DEM was something, dude. They had like hundreds of players in each of the groups. So like you had 50 Malton police and 50 Malton firemen and 25 Malton emergency medical techs. Not to mention the Malton forensics units or the Malton marshals.
They had like the meta unlock back in the day too, huh?
They did completely. Brainstock, I think, was their forum, and that was like the go-to Urban Dead spot at the time. They operated the Rogues Gallery too.
Ah, the Rogues Gallery. That's such a cool idea.
Well, that was their whole thing. They had a whole group dedicated to it. They called themselves the Malton Marshals. And they were just a bounty hunting crew. And then you had, and they had their own subunits. You had the Mountain Police, who were mostly armed patrol, and the Mountain Fire Department.
Very interesting, dude.
Oh, yeah. And then you had the EMTs, and I think the Mountain Forensics unit were like the necro technicians. But yeah, the Knights, we take a more generalistic approach to it. We don't specialize too much, except certain ones of us might go heavy on like one specific thing. I know McKnuckles is fond of keeping like 4 or 5 needles handy at any given time, just because his hobby is clearing the revive queue. Wow, we take pride in that, man. Ebbett Road and Werewalk are like 2 of the most efficient RPs in Malton. I'm gonna go ahead and say that with confidence.
Yeah, Kempster Bank is a pretty clean operation, dude. You guys have your stuff on lock for sure. And
well, it helps. It helps that we haven't been under siege lately. Like ever since we lost our old nemesis, the St. Farrell's Noise Abatement Society, it just hasn't been the same, man.
wow. Like, tell me about those guys a little bit.
So, for those who don't know, who might be listening back home, in Kempster Bank, there's a hospital just north of the White Knoll building called St. Farrell's Hospital. And we had a group of zombies who decided to just take up residence in that hospital. They made their whole life dedicated as a group. There were like 25 to 30 of them at their peak. And they just dedicated their lives to ruining and maintaining the ruined status of St. Farrell's Hospital.
Man.
And sometimes the surrounding blocks.
Man. What was their like biggest group numbers if in your recollection?
At their highest that I remember, they were in their 30s.
Wow.
And again, they were single-minded in their objective. They would have 25 of them just overnighting in the hospital. Like they would go out, knock over another building, and then sleep in the hospital just to keep us from fixing it.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
They were coordinated.
So they're just like your arch nemesis, because that St. Farrell's Hospital is like right outside Castle White Knoll.
Yeah,
right?
it's 3 north. It is exactly 3
it's like
north.
in the White Knoll Plaza.
No. It's the White Knoll Plaza is just the 9x9 square around it, but it's 2 north of White Knoll Plaza if you want to get technical. So yeah, it's very close, and they would usually, like, if the hospital was already ruined, they would start branching out. So, they'd start smacking down Club Crook and Titus General and the fire stations, just generally making life difficult for us, and
They're
always coming to knock on White Knoll if they were bored.
Were they a good arch nemesis?
Oh, absolutely. We miss them. We legitimately miss them. There's actually graffiti about how much we miss them. Somebody felt compelled to write about it.
Do you remember any of the players?
Not specifically. I used to have a lot of them in my contacts list, but I cleared them all out to make room for more
When do you think they went away?
Played the game. I'm gonna say 14. They started their decline,
2014.
and then kind of petered out completely by 2016. maybe 2017 for like the real holdouts, but I haven't seen a single zombie with their tags in a long time.
Who's like the biggest nemesis these days for the Knights?
We only really have FOD these days to be like our big time nemesis. And of course, all of the zombies in Malton, always.
Yep. Um, who are some really old school veterans that have been playing in the Knights actively since you have been playing?
Well, I know Finney McGee still plays, McNuckles, pretty much the whole council have been around a super long time.
And Oz just recently got in the council, but he's been
Oz
playing
just
for a while.
recently got promoted, but he's been playing as long as I have. He's been in the Knights since 2011 too, but he's been
Wow.
more active with the Knights than I was over the years. JD doesn't really play. Jimbo's been back on the forums, and so's Wason. I remember Wason. He's a paladin of ours.
How's the Discord conversion going?
It's been going all right. We're not converting. For one, that's an important point.
Okay,
We
the
don't
forums
want
are
to
going to be
convert
a...
fully. We've always had like the forum and then also the real-time chat, and historically the real-time chat was an IRC channel, but who IRCs anymore? So Discord's just the way to do it. It's the IRC of the future.
Yeah.
But most of the communication takes place on the forums. Like Discord is purely supplemental.
Are there like any old school guys that have come back recently?
Wason is back from the dead. He kind of comes and goes. This one knight who's been gone forever, Chiharu Matsuda, is their name. I don't know. That's their name, but yeah, Chiharu went to med school for a few years and is back with us because they have time again. So it's always good, you know. Get to see new knights, old knights. Maltal Fuelbot is actually a knight of old.
Huh.
I mean, Maltal Fuelbot, not literally, but Maltal Fuelbot, the person, had a knight.
What is a wicked sweet memory you have about Pole Mall?
Maltor. The Maltor. When the Maltor came to visit Pole Mall,
What
and we
year?
decided we had to protect it because that was our mall.
What year do you think that would have
I think that was 14?
been? You're pretty well established in the Knights by 2014, huh?
Yeah, you know, well enough. I was a knight by that point.
And then
but
this,
I
like,
didn't
mall
make
tour
paladin
shows
until
up.
recently. Yeah, the mall tour was a yearly thing. Like, literally yearly. So every time mall tour came to Pole Mall, it was pretty great, but I distinctly remember 14.
So there we have it, Roftwood, a deeper insight into the Knights Templar Pro Survivor group, as heard from one of their veteran players, Benaldo. This concludes my first Knights Templar series. This RCC Fireside Chat is a post-apocalyptic production proudly presented to you by the Roftwood Coordination Center. I'm Zombie GG, and Roftwood, the pleasure's been mine.